It's Joey B. Here's part 4 of tier ranking Toybiz Marvel Legends. Let's get into this. This is the final part, going over the last 3 Build-A-Figure waves of the Toybiz Marvel Legends era. And then we're done with the Toybiz figures. Maybe then we'll move on to the Hasbro Marvel Legends. If you guys liked this series, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought. And I have more content coming soon. Let's get to part 4. Then we have the figure that I consider to be the best Toybiz Marvel Legends figure of all time. The one that works the best with current figures out of everything else. This is Blackheart. I do think Hasbro can do a better Blackheart figure than Toybiz, but they have not done it yet. And I still think the Toybiz one, even Hasbro does make a new one that is better than this one, I feel like some people might still prefer the Toybiz one. This Blackheart figure is amazing, and for a long time he was a peg warmer. And he's a great figure. He's awesome. He's probably the second tallest Toybiz Marvel Legend ever after Sasquatch. I remember when I got him, I was mind blown. I was so happy to have him. I've never got rid of that figure. I'm keeping that figure for a long time, and unless Hasbro blows it out of the water, I'm keeping my Toybiz Blackheart. Really impressive figure. Here's another sad one I mentioned earlier about Iceman. How Iceman's sadly the best Iceman figure we've ever had. This is sadly the best Abomination figure we've ever had. The Toybiz one from the Onslaught wave. Huge ball hips, and no ab crunch at all. Both those things bring him down here to B. But if he had better hips and a ab crunch, oh man, this figure would be an S. He's by far the best sculpted Abomination besides the hips. And sadly, he's still the Abomination I have on my shelf. I really wish I had a better updated Abomination, but we don't. Same as Abomination, Loki. We don't have a good Loki figure still yet in the Marvel Legends line. And this one has a cool look, but has the old man face, and just not really how you picture Loki, you know? The best one's probably the Hasbro Walmart exclusive one from the Thor movie, which uses the shitty Doc Samson body. It's still not a good figure. But sadly, this is probably the competitor for the #1 Loki figure, which really breaks my heart. Loki deserves way better figures than what he has. However, this figure does blend in really well to a Marvel Legends display. Like, it has the skirt piece that blocks his ball hips. And if you like this version of Loki, then it would fit in perfectly fine. Which is not my preferred look for Loki. But he'd go A tier. He would blend in decently in a current Marvel Legends display. It's just not the look most people want. And here is an F tier. We got Lady Deathstrike. Awful figure. Was always awful figure. Hideous arms, hideous face. And if you bend her back at all, her harness thing she has, rips off. Terrible. Terrible figure. So glad we got an update. The update is a great figure. Her update was like an S tier figure last year. Her original one, though, total garbage. And now here's Green Goblin, who I've seen a lot of people still say is the best Green Goblin figure ever made. And part of me wants to agree. The body mold, I don't agree with. I think the ball hips and stuff is ugly, and I think he's a little small. But if you count the head sculpt alone blows any of the head sculpts out that Hasbro's ever done out of the water. It is a fantastic Green Goblin head sculpt. It is the perfect classic Green Goblin head sculpt. But the body mold ruins it a lot. And he's really small, and you could really see the ball joints. Also has the best glider, though. That glider is perfect. I use that glider on my Hasbro Green Goblins. So I'm going to put Green Goblin in B tier personally for myself. I'm happy enough with the Hasbro ones. But I think that with a head sculpt like that one from Hasbro, then that would by far be our best Green Goblin. But this one, not too bad having a display. Then you have Pyro, so I'm kind of disappointed by the new Pyro. I think he's too buff. Pyro's usually drawn really super skinny, and this Toybiz one really depicted that really well. He's really skinny, but it's a really bad figure. The fact that his hair matches his mask, is the same color as his mask, Like that's ugly. That's stupid. Um, the way his like crotch area sculpts, like it's like his like the front of his crotch is the same width as his ass, and it really makes him like stand really funny. He has super long arms. When you bend his fingers, he has that like one finger sticking out no matter what. Super dumb. I don't understand why they did that with this figure. Um, the only thing this figure does right is how skinny Pyro is. This Pyro is supposed to be skinny, not supposed to be on a pretty buff body. Yeah, Pyro's F tier for sure. He does some things better than the newest Pyro, but he's still a crap figure. We have Onslaught. This is the version of Onslaught no one wanted. Most people at the time wanted, the Magneto-looking Onslaught, not the bug-looking Onslaught. As far as the bug-looking Onslaught goes, though, this is a really nice sculpt. It's definitely too small to be Onslaught, but it's a really nice sculpt. As this is a build figure I never wanted to build myself because it's not the Onslaught I wanted. But I mean, it works. I mean, it works in a display. It's perfectly fine. Just undersized. It may be a little bit too detailed for modern figures. I don't know, I'll put Onslaught in A tier with Apocalypse though. I think he's okay. Move on to the Mojo wave next, and we have another figure just like Iron Fist earlier. That's like mind blowing. Has not been redone. How have we not gotten a new classic Luke Cage, Hasbro? Like, it'd be nice to have Luke Cage and Iron Fist in a 2-pack, but honestly, I hope we get them individually. I need multiple Power Mans for different teams. I don't want to buy three 3-packs to get 3 Power Mans. Come on, man. But yeah, he needs updated really bad. He's just really scrawny. He's really scrawny for a Luke Cage. Luke Cage was supposed to be a big, huge buff guy, and his hand was always weird with the way how one hand was a fist, solid fist, and the other hand was like a weird sloppy bitch slap hand, individual finger articulation, super weird. A new Luke Cage though, preferably on like the Hercules body mold. That'd be nice, Hasbro. This one's fine. If you have it, it can pass for a Luke Cage. I have mine on my display still too, because there's no other option. But damn it, come on, we need a new classic Luke Cage. But yeah, B tier for Luke. We have classic Baron Zemo, Baron Heinrich Zemo rather than Helmet, which is what we've gotten from Hasbro. Baron Heinrich Zemo, the founder of the Masters of Evil. His torso sculpt is really ugly, but honestly, other than that, he can blend in pretty good with Hasbro Legends because his ball hips are covered by his skirt, and he's decent. He's not too underscaled. He works especially if you have him in like an old school style shelf like Invader's shelf next to Captain America. I think he works. He does need updated, but he works for now. He's not bad. I'll put him A. Then we have Longshot, and Longshot, he was another one of those Marvel Legends that were super cheap back in the day. He was always peg warming, and for good reason. He's pretty ugly. He's always been pretty ugly. I never liked this figure. I'll put him in C tier. He's not the worst. I mean, he looks like Longshot. He kind of has a giraffe neck. I don't know. There's something about Longshot's figures that's never appealed to me. I can't really explain it. But he doesn't look too out of place anywhere. But he's definitely, outdated and has been for a long time. First appearance Iron Man and the gold variant, which is inaccurate. The gold variant should have a skirt. The ball hips are the worst part about this because they stand out like a sore thumb because this is a smooth figure. So we really need a new one. I heard rumors that we're supposed to get a new one soon. And he's really small for a first appearance Iron Man. He should be a bigger tin can. I'm putting him down here in D tier. We need a new first appearance Iron Man really bad though. Falcon. This is the only classic Falcon we have. We need a Falcon with the V-neck for our classic Avengers. This figure has a really tiny head. His head's like skinnier than his neck. That red, the plastic being red for the joint in his neck ruins that figure really badly too. The best part about him is he comes with Red Wing. And yeah, Falcon is definitely not on the same level as Luke Cage and Iron Fist even. He is down here in D tier. He desperately needs redone. Then there's Psylocke, and Psylocke is F tier. Psylocke is one of the most attractive women in comics, and this figure is hideous. Hideous. I'm still glad we've gotten better Psylocke over the years. Next up is the Mojo Build-A-Figure, and we just got an updated Mojo from Hasbro 2, actually, and they're both far superior to this thing. This thing is ugly, and Mojo's supposed to be ugly, but this guy is, it's not done right. Like, he has almost no posability in his torso at all, which I mean, you get he's a guy in a chair, but it's shitty. He's way undersized. There's way too much dirt and grime on him. He looks just dirty, and it's not what I want in Mojo. He should be like a slug monster, and he's still, yeah. Mojo is a D tier. I think he's one of the worst. I think he is the worst Toybiz Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure of all time. Yeah, I was so happy to sell mine and buy the new one because the new one is just great. Then we have Destroyer, and Destroyer's not bad. A little small. Marvel Select one's definitely better. But I would put Destroyer in B tier. He's a variant for Thorbuster Iron Man. And the only reason I'm putting him separately is because he's a whole different character. But yeah, Destroyer, yeah, not bad. B tier. I heard rumors are going to get a new Destroyer this year. That'd be awesome. We have Beta Ray Bill, or Beta Ray Bill. Beta, what is he? Pretty sure it's Beta Ray Bill. That's how I always call him. But it's Beta Ray Bill, the only classic Beta Ray Bill figure we've ever had. And honestly, if we never got another one, I'd be honestly fine, because this one is a really fantastic figure. He's going S tier. I love that Beta Ray Bill figure. I think he's great. I have Captain Marvel, and Marvel is going D tier, along with Genus Vel is also D tier. We've gotten updates of Marvel. We need to update of Genus Vel in that costume. They're just too small, too skinny. They use the bullseye body, but they have the really ugly hand joint and really ugly head sculpts. And just, I don't know, for some reason, the body mold does not work for those two characters. Moon Knight, which uses the exact same body mold as those other two, but it's done really well. And you could argue is just as good as the modern Moon Knight figures. I like that his cape is very crescent moon shaped, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna put him down in B tier. I don't think he's as good as Bullseye. Probably about as good as Taskmaster. So I think B is a good spot for Moon Knight. Then we have both Julia Carpenter and Jessica Drew Spider-Womans. Put them individually because it's two different characters, but they're both equally bad. Jessica Drew was especially bad, though, with her wings. Like, those are some of the worst things that Toy Biz ever did on a Toy Biz Marvel Legend figure. Bad. Glad both those figures have been updated over the years. Wasp. The version of Wasp in the picture here on my screen is, like, we need a new version of this one. It's the first appearance Wasp. Classic Wasp. She had two variants. She had a blue variant, which is, like, insanely expensive, and another, like, more modern version. But she's still going F tier. We need a new Wasp, though, in this look. But we have had a few other Wasps in other looks, and they were, that's good enough. But we would prefer another classic Wasp. But that old Wasp was really bad. There's MODOK, and honestly, unlike Mojo, the old MODOK figure does hold up really well. If you had this old MODOK figure on your shelf, I don't think anyone would really notice any difference. It's a really good figure, and only difference is it's slightly smaller than the other one, but they both work for MODOK. So if you have a Toy Biz MODOK on your shelf still, doesn't bother me. He's S tier. He's fine. Realized I missed one from his wave. We have Thorbuster Iron Man. Thorbuster Iron Man, I think it's mostly good. Just the ball joint hips, throw it off, and then the way his crotch is sculpted, it's like his crotch is sculpted the same width as his ass. So, like, it's hard to tell which side is his ass, which side of his crotch. It's kind of weird. He's fine. He stands in my Hall of Armor, though, and he doesn't look too out of place. I like to have an update, though. That'd be nice. I'll put him in B tier. Yeah, just keep the helmet on him, though. That Tony Stark head's pretty rough. We have Sentry, and Sentry has 4 variants. But luckily, Sentry is the only variant in this wave that doesn't. The other variants in this wave, you have to buy all of them to build the whole Build-A-Figure, which is ridiculous. At least Sentry, you didn't have to do that. And yeah, he uses the same body as Black Panther from earlier. And it was really not great. His head was really small, about sometimes his neck. And the bearded versions were slightly better. But Sentry I'm going to put down here in... He's not quite as bad as Wonder Man. I'll put him in C. What's Wonder Man? Is he in F? Or is he in D? Wonder Man's in D. I'll put Sentry in C tier. He's slightly better than Wonder Man. To build these variants, because you have to buy both of these to build Giant Man. You have the Burnt Weapon X, Age of Apocalypse Weapon X. And that one, it's better than the other one. I'll put that one in C tier, and the other one will go D tier. They use that really cool brown suit Wolverine body. It's crazy that that's the only Wolverine that Toybiz ever reused that body for. Like, they didn't... Hasbro will later on reuse it for the yellow tiger stripe one, which made more sense. Plus, Toybiz never did that. Those Wolverine figures, really bad. Really not great. If you try to sell those figures nowadays, nobody will buy them. Like, you go to a used like toy shop, and you find the Marvel Legends drawer, and it's just full of those Wolverines. And in fact, I think I'll put the regular one in F tier. That head sculpt is freaking hideous on that figure. And the burnt one I'll put in D tier. Captain Britain has a big head and uses the same body as the Sentry and the Black Panther and the Wonder Man. He's too small for Captain Britain. But he really doesn't look too horrible. I'll put him C tier. Yeah, I don't know. Not much to say about Captain Britain. You have Sabretooth, who for a long time was the cheapest Toybiz Marvel Legends for a long time. I'd say he's definitely better than the Wolverines, though. Definitely better than the Wolverines. He's way too small for AOA Sabretooth, though. But his body mold is pretty cool. I liked it. His body sculpt was actually a pretty nice sculpt. It's just too small for AOA Sabretooth. But I'll put him in C tier just because it is a nice body mold. And definitely better than those shitty Wolverines. You have Havoc, which we finally got a new classic Havoc recently. And this old one was fine for a long time. It's just really short now. He was fine for a long time. B tier, I think he's okay for Havoc. The body mold is okay for Havoc. And it's not too bad if you have him in your displays, though. He just looks really small. He looks really short next to Polaris and stuff. That's his only big problem. Otherwise, I think he's just as fine as the new one. Because he's all black, so you can't really see the ball hips that bad. So we have Carol Danvers, Miss Marvel. Surprisingly, like, not as bad as most of the other females. I'll put her D tier. She's still not good, but she's not bad. Never owned that figure. One of the only female figures I never owned from Marvel Legends. But yeah, her head sculpt's really not as hideous as the rest of them. So that's a win there. Scott Lang Ant-Man, which you can also use as Hank Pym Ant-Man. Cool thing about this is the helmet's removable. And you can, if you wanted to, you can put I used the early Hasbro Ultimate Steve Rogers World War II unmasked head and put it on the retro Ant-Man body. And that helmet fits perfectly on there. And so it makes, because that head's tiny, it makes the head look proportional when that helmet's on it. And yeah, anyways, that's a pretty good combination there. Otherwise, just use this figure. His big ball shoulders. Other than the big ball shoulders, he's okay. I'll put him B tier. Mostly worth it for the helmet, though. Like, the helmet's a good feature, but yeah, the big ball shoulders is the only thing that really makes him not fit in. Thor. This was the best Thor figure for a long time. And now he's just too small. That's his only problem now, is he's too small and has his little ball hips. But yeah, he's really not bad. I'll put him B tier as well. You have Kitty Pryde, who other than her head sculpt was actually a pretty nice body sculpt. Like, she works better scale wise for Kitty Pryde. in this costume than the actual Hasbro Kitty Pryde in this costume does. I think she's better than the Hasbro Kitty Pryde in this costume, to be honest with you. And like Lockjaw's probably better too. But her head sculpt is really ugly. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. I'll put her C tier. Pretty high for a Marvel Legends female. And then last but certainly not least, we have Toybiz Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Giant Man, who is definitely S tier. Giant Man is just an upscaled version of the Bullseye body, which is pretty cool. Great body mold at the time. And he's great. I mean, he blends in almost seamlessly into a current display, especially if you pose him the right way where you can't see the ball hips, which is easy to do. Yeah, Giant Man, definitely S tier. Probably the best Toybiz Build-A-Figure of all time still. I prefer him over the Sentinel and MODOK that are both there. They're in S tier. He looks great in a modern Avengers display still. That's the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you agree with my rankings here? Which Toybiz Marvel Legend was your favorite back in the day? And how do you feel about it now? So yeah, if you guys like this video, like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. Whatever you want to do. More ranking videos coming in the future. Thank you guys for watching. Catch you guys next time.